I would say what has fascinated me the most is the complexity that exists. It is so complex and so integrated into the fabric of the culture and the society. We segregate music a lot in the United States and keep it into certain places. And in some ways, it's become a very individual experience with, the ability to have so much music on our phones and being listening to it all the time. And here, the music that we have experienced has been so communal and so ingrained in the lives, and in a way, from the youngest kids to the very oldest members of the community. So the joy, the communal integration, and then the complexities of it that is taking so much energy, and we struggle to comprehend because it is so complex and so developed, and it's so unique. And then to hear the differences from Mayuga to the groups up here in the north and the thumb pianos, it's remarkable, the distinctiveness of the different communities. I think what sticks out in my mind the most is that complexity, just how the groove and the level of integration from all the performers, how they seamlessly communicate and talk back and communicate between one another, whether it's the singers and the drummers or the xylophone players, and how they hear other things, they hear each other playing and adapt to that in a really unique way. And I experienced it the most when I tried playing. I'd be shown what to play, and I think I was doing it correctly, and it's like, no. And they show again, but I think, because I'm not hearing it in the same way, and I'm not sure what to listen for, and I'm not used to interacting with the music in that way. The welcome. The community outside Palisade with the thumb pianos when we arrived, that opening song and the joy of that and the welcoming and feeling so integrated into the community, and to be able to again, it's more of a musical highlight, but to be able to be there and put our hands on the instruments and play it and experience this music, not from just a recording perspective, which is how we've mainly experienced it before coming here, and not just from standing a few feet away and listening, but from being there and being on the inside of it, was just eye-opening of what you hear and what you experience. I could never conceive of that, the sound like the earthen xylophones make, until I was right there, or the physicality of playing until I was right there trying to do it. And so the welcome, the being invited in, and really feeling the whole experience. Outside of music, I mean, what's better than seeing all the animals at Murchison Falls National Park and just the diversity and the huge amount, the beauty and the natural beauty that is in this place is incredible. The biggest observation that I think I would make is the vocal production, for the most part, seems to be a very natural production of the needs of the music. We have a very particular in the West, and especially in the United States, and especially in our area of the United States. We have a particular, oftentimes an aversion to singing. And this idea that, oh, somebody has a pretty voice or somebody doesn't. And that there's an ideal sound, whether it's for choral music or whether it's for pop music, and either you have it or you don't. And then we do train voices to kind of move towards that sound ideal for the different music. And I think that exists in Uganda to some degree, but what I really heard was people singing with their authentic voice and not trying to sing in a way that's outside placed upon it. So you got a very healthy and full sound production. You got the body being used just like a baby crying, right? Or a baby screaming. Nobody taught that baby out. It's the way that the body worked. And we saw this kind of unashamed fullness and richness of sound, and not even unashamed, but unapologetic or not really being so concerned about what other people think of it. We saw that at the choir at Makere University. That gentleman that sang the national anthem solo, full, rich, I mean, just open voice. And I think he probably had some vocal training, some more traditional or Western vocal training. But there was a generosity. There's a generosity in the singing that is that is so welcoming. Then when we went out to the different instruments, generally my guess is that the people that were singing, had some type of natural vocal production that allowed them to fill that role. Because it needed to be loud, because these instruments are so loud. And to be loud and to be heard, it needed to be loud and high and bright to cut through. So then you heard a lot of singing that was more nasal, more bright, and loud, and quite high in the register. And it was virtually all men singing in quite a high and resonant nature. The responses were often much lower. So I would be interested to learn more about that, if there is training in that, or if it's just you have a loud, high voice, and this is how we sing, and then it's kind of taught subconsciously through the generations as this is the type of sound, because not only is it beautiful and healthy and welcoming, because it's their voice, right? There's no extraness to it, but it also fulfills the role of being able to be heard and to be projected. It felt like being home. It felt like being part of a larger community, a larger human race. Music has that ability that with people we've never met before to make a connection. And however short it was, however limited it was real. In that moment, it was real. And it is something that I will cherish. I hope they will cherish as well. But I know that I will cherish that authenticity of that warmth, the joy, the common humanity, and in a world that so often tries to tell us and other people, or tell us how we're different, or make they are them, they are those others, and it's not. It is us. It is all of us. And so then to share that music and to share that meal, that most basic of of human interactions, felt so much joy and so much warmth.
Pamoja, wanachel pamoja, we are together in the cell. Pamoja, pamoja together, singing pamoja. One shell, therapy pamoja, all together singing pamoja, 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 together pamoja.
I think pride, and not pride in a vain way, but pride in who we are. This is who we are, and the way that it brings everybody together in unity, and provides the opportunity for communication and education and social connection. From the outside, it was certainly this unifying factor that everybody felt proud of, that this is what we do, because it is the level of complexity and beauty and of this music is impossible to objectify and to label, but there's a deep sense of ownership that is beautiful. This is who I am, and then the opportunity to share it and to have it shared with us was really beautiful. Well, I think I've always been taught music from a very Western perspective that has been very heavily, well, I actually take the Western perspective back, because Western music has not always been heavily notated, I think, or heavily, hasn't always had as heavy of an influence on notation as it currently does now, especially music teaching and learning. There was a time in Western music where improv and aural ability and aural memory was much more important, but we've moved away from that. And so I was really educated from a notation first perspective and taught to create music from the page, to read what's on the page and to make the music. And as such, my abilities and my training in improv, in aural skills, in aural memory, in rote learning, just the fact that I say the word rote learning and it's kind of like pejorative, right? But that's a skill I don't have. And when you do access those areas of your brain, that opens up a whole new world of musicianship and interaction and community and the ability to connect with one another. And it was so evident, when I was being taught how to play this stuff, they would play such long, to my perspective, such long phrases, and I couldn't remember it. I just couldn't, because my aural memory wasn't strong. And so then the improvisation was, and so for me, it's really opened up my eyes to and areas that I wish I could do more as a musician and be more. And so I want to incorporate more of those elements into my music teaching and learning for myself to be that, to do that as a musician. And in my teaching, to give that to my students and to make sure that element that has so often been downplayed recently in Western music education in favor of notation-based learning, to bring that to the forefront, because that just opens the mind up in so many ways.